Alright, so yeah, I've kind of been gone for like a year or so off this, and I'm pretty keen to make a return. So I just thought it'd be right to kind of share where I've been and what's been happening. And yeah, I guess last time I did this, I was in like the heat of God working in my life. A lot of things were changing, and I've just, I guess the whole of last year I've just been trying to follow Him, and yeah, I've kind of had to separate myself from nature for a bit. But yeah, I guess I'm just gonna kind of say what's been happening and about my journey with God and that. So I'll just get into it. I was raised in a Christian family, going to church and all that, baptized when I was like 14. But then like a couple years later, I just left church, left God, and started to live my own life. And I felt free to do whatever I wanted to, and I didn't really have any worries in the world. Like, I just started getting into, just like smoking and drinking and a bit of crime. Just involved with like the street culture, I guess. And from that behaviour is kind of where nature came from. That's kind of where nature was born. And yeah, probably around like Nature 4 days is when like my conscience started to become troubled, that I was on like the wrong path. My life got pretty destructive, got pretty involved in like drugs and yeah, just that lifestyle, and my conscience would just be troubled from time to time. It was like, you're on the wrong path, but I always just like ignored it, just distracted myself the next day and just kept doing that. And yeah, I feel like that was God kind of trying to say, come back, Luke, like get back in line, but I always ignored it. Yeah, there would also be times throughout those years where I could have been in a really bad situation, but I was like given a way out somehow. Like one time I'd lost my license a few times, so I was driving unlicensed. I was drink driving unlicensed, pulled up to a car park to like smoke weed with a couple mates, like 3 in the morning too. And as we were doing it, cops pulled up and they asked for my license, so I didn't have it, and they were just like, mate, we know exactly what you're doing, but we're gonna let you go, just like don't drive home. And there was so many times like that in my life where I could have been in real big trouble, but I was just like given another chance, and like something inside me was just like, come on Luke, here's another chance, pull your head in, like you're on the wrong path, but still just kept choosing to ignore it. But for me, like the turning point was yeah, my brother just like showed me a verse in the Bible one night, and I went back to my room and I just kept reading it. And as I was reading it, I felt so strongly that I needed to like change my ways. Like I felt like a calling. And one of the things that stood out specifically was stop putting out like misleading content on nature. So I always kind of knew deep down that at the rate that nature was going, that it wasn't gonna last. But I didn't want to change it. Like, but I knew that I had to change it now. I knew that I had to change it. And yeah, it was so strong. It was so strong. Something inside me was just saying like, stop doing this and follow me. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't want to like admit it was God at this point, but I knew I had to follow it. I couldn't ignore it. But yeah, as time went on, I decided to pick up the Bible again, just to like kind of explore Christianity and my upbringing. And as I was reading the Bible and like stories about God and how He worked, I realized that the way He worked in the Bible, the same things were happening in my life. And I would come across scriptures at like perfect times that would just speak to me. Like, for example, I was really wrestling with whether to take Jammer videos or not, because I thought they were like just like misleading. And I'd come across a scripture of like God kind of prompting Abraham to offer his son Isaac on the altar, and Abraham didn't understand why, but God was just testing his faith to see if he would actually give everything up for him. And that kind of spoke to me. I'm like, I feel like God's prompting me to like take down my videos, and I don't really understand why, but I just need to trust Him. So I just did it, and I just trusted Him, and I got peace, and things like this kept happening. Like, I started really trying to follow God at this point. I realized that this thing inside me was God, and I started like praying to God, asking for guidance, and He would show me what to do through my conscience and through the scriptures, and I would do it, and He would give me peace. And it was just like this whole personal journey with God. But yeah, started going back to church and that with my brother, learning about Jesus and all that, and I realized that Jesus is like the same character. Like, He's truth. And I'm gonna wrap it up kind of with this. Jesus says in Matthew 7 that whoever hears my words but doesn't put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house in the sand. Like, the rain came and the house just came crumbling down. And I feel like that's what happened to me in my life. Like, I heard His words from a young age. I ignored them. I built up this house for myself, that being like nature and many other things, which I haven't mentioned in this video. But when trials came, like, it couldn't stand. But He also says that whoever hears my words and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. When the rain came, the house stood up. So I guess moving forward, I'm just trying to rebuild this year. Like, last year was a whole like deconstruction of my old life, but this year I'm like, I want to start building again. I want to start putting out new videos, and I want to kind of build it on the solid foundation, that being Christ. So that's where I'm at. That's where I've been. I'm keen to give this another shot. For those who stuck around, thank you. And we'll see what happens next. But I love you guys, and I'm keen for this year. Peace.